Picture this. A member of Congress asks a top Trump official who the president was in 2024, and the man can barely say Joe Biden's name out loud. If you ever needed proof of how deep the denial, the delusion, and the democratic decay run inside Trump world, this hearing just gave you the whole blueprint. And trust me, what Gregory Meeks exposes here isn't just hypocrisy. It's the anatomy of a political movement that survives by confusing the public, erasing the past, and inflating fake emergencies so they can hijack power they were never meant to have.
Make that determination, as the Constitution has said, and not tried to go around Congress. That's just unbelievable to me. Let me ask this question. Maybe they missed it. Who was the president, and who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the election, the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes? Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and it should be abided by?
I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
So you believe in it without any second thought. You don't have to think about it. You believe in it and you would abide by it. Is that correct?
I have and I do, sir.
Okay. But do you know that a president has said he may or may not? He don't know? Let me ask this question.
Welcome back to True Liberty, the channel where we cut straight past the noise and dig into the real power dynamics shaping your life, your rights, and your future. If you're tired of watching democracy get chipped away by people who weaponize confusion, fear, and economic nonsense, then hit subscribe right now. Not because it helps the algorithm, but because it connects you to thousands of others who refuse to sleepwalk through history while authoritarians rewrite the rulebook. This is a movement for evidence, justice, pluralism, and the radical idea that the truth still matters. So join us. All right, buckle in, because what you're about to see is the perfect snapshot of the contradiction machine that passes for conservative economic storytelling today.
I couldn't believe my ears. Sunday, during NBC's Meet the Press, President Trump credited himself for the strong economy in 2024 when Joe Biden was president, but then he blamed President Biden for a weak economy in 2025 when he was president. Now, I'm not so sure how the American people puts that together. In 2024, strong economy, he tried to take the credit. In 2025, when he's the president, he blames Joe Biden. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to most Americans. And I hope, Mr. Secretary, you're a businessman, it doesn't make sense to you either. It can't possibly make sense to you. Let me ask this question. If a government, say look, Argentina, I remember when I came here, and Argentina kept failing to pay its debt. Not once or twice or three times. And we were all upset about it, and we said that they needed somebody to take over their government. You know, somebody should help the president of Argentina. If the United States didn't pay its debt or something like that, we'd be very upset about that if we couldn't pay our debt. I mean, that's one of our focuses. Is that not correct?
Sir, the United States will always meet its debt obligations.
Always. Well, let me ask you this. Donald Trump, the deal maker, and you didn't answer Ms. Velasquez's questions, no deals, although he said 3 weeks ago that there would be deals. But Donald Trump, not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, not five times, but 6 times, failed to pay his debts on his business and went bankrupt. And you're going to call that a good businessman?
The gentleman's
I wouldn't
time
invest
has
in that
expired.
company.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Gregory Meeks asks a simple question. Does a trade deficit equal a national emergency? And Scott Bessant, speaking for the administration, says yes, just like that. As if 40 straight years of trade deficits under Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush again, Obama, and Trump's own first term never happened, as if America wasn't functioning, growing, innovating, and expanding throughout all those decades. No nuance, no evidence, just the magic word emergency. Why? Because an emergency isn't an economic diagnosis. It's a political cheat code. Call something an emergency, and suddenly presidents can bypass Congress, bypass oversight, bypass constitutional constraints. And that is the real goal here. This isn't about national security. It's about centralizing power under the guise of crisis. Conservative rhetoric thrives on this trick. Shrink complex structural issues into simplistic villains, immigrants, trade partners, deficits, globalism, then declare that only a strong man can fix them. It's the oldest play in the authoritarian playbook. If they admitted that the economy is shaped by multinational supply chains, corporate concentration, decades of deregulation, labor suppression, and Wall Street's demand for cheap inputs, they would have to point the finger at their donors, not at foreign boogeymen. Then comes the moment that should be studied in political science classes. Meeks points out that Trump bragged about the strong 2024 economy while Biden was president, and then blamed Biden for the 2025 economy while Trump himself was president. You can feel the cognitive dissonance snap. The contradiction is so bold, so shameless, so mathematically impossible that it becomes a form of gaslighting. If you can convince people that you get credit when things go well under someone else and no responsibility when things go badly under you, you are not running a country, you are running a cult. But Meeks doesn't stop there. He pulls the thread all the way back to Trump's business record. Not one bankruptcy, not two, 6. The same man claiming to be America's great negotiator has repeatedly failed to meet his own debt obligations, and yet his administration lectures the world about economic responsibility. This isn't about personal moral failure. Bankruptcy is sometimes necessary, but it is about political storytelling. Trump's mythology depends on erasing the parts of his past that contradict the strongman illusion. And that's the through line here. Erasure. Erasing economic context. Erasing history. Erasing the constitutional separation of powers. Erasing the reality of who pays for tariffs, which are taxes that fall overwhelmingly on American consumers and American manufacturers. Not foreign governments, not global elites. The people who make your food, assemble your appliances, and staff your factories. The people who already shoulder inflated prices because corporate monopolies have more power than workers ever will under conservative economic doctrine. This is why misinformation spreads so easily, because it offers simple emotional conclusions where reality offers complex structural truths. Trade deficit bad is easier than explaining global value chains. Emergency now is easier than explaining constitutional limits. Strong economy because of me, weak economy because of someone else is easier than explaining how policy effects lag over time. But democracies cannot survive on easy lies. They survive on accountability, shared facts, and a commitment to something larger than partisan ego. They survive on compassion for the people whose lives are shaped by policies made in rooms they will never enter. They survive on pluralism, the idea that power must be distributed, not hoarded. And they survive on the courage to say, no, we will not rewrite reality to soothe the insecurities of one man. If you take one thing from this hearing, let it be this. The fight over tariffs, trade, and emergencies is not just economic. It is constitutional. It is moral. It is about whether we allow manufactured crises to justify real power grabs. And if we want a future where prosperity is shared, where workers have dignity, where the rule of law actually means something, then we cannot let this kind of rhetorical sleight of hand become the new normal. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, democracy is not self-correcting. People correct it. People like you.